So this is continuing lesson 1 on Hamlet at Joe Rich and for the A-level students. This is still Act 1, Scene 2, and this is the first soliloquy where Hamlet is on his own and he speaks, and he gives these soliloquies are amazing because they really give us, there's something that's celebrated in Hamlet because we get a real sense of an interior thought process. In some of Shakespeare's plays, soliloquies, the speaker is really speaking to the audience. Sometimes they're exploring and deeply going into themselves and finding something new, and almost we see the thread of their thought. And Hamlet is one of those plays where we really start to see and witness a dramatization of thought itself, almost. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. There's an amazing alternative reading in Quarto 1, sometimes known as the bad Quarto, sullied, as in dirtied, corrupted body. This too corrupted flesh would melt. But a lot of critics prefer this reading because it makes sense, because he's asking is that his flesh would literally melt away. He doesn't want to exist. It is strange, and I can't really resolve this, why he says melt, thaw, and then resolve itself into a dew. There's something about melt and thaw being in the wrong order that I haven't really resolved. But he does want to not exist. But he also seems to have a real anxiety with flesh, the body. And it's something that's going to come out really intensely in this speech. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Or he's in an argument. He's working through something. So if only my flesh would melt, or if it wasn't wrong to commit suicide. If only that wasn't the case, and suicide's going to be something he thinks about. Oh God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of the word. What a list. Weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable. He is melancholic. I think to the modern ear, he's depressed. He cannot find, the world is meaningless to him. The morning he's in for his father has kicked into something else. Fie on it, fie. This is great. This fie on it, fie. It's this disgust almost. And the imagery he uses here. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. Things are growing and becoming disgusting, and this disgustingness is creating more, is planting the seeds for more disgustingness. Again, there's this revulsion. And what's going on with him? And here we see a shift. What's wrong? What's going on, Hamlet? Look, that it should come to this, but 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. It's been too quick. It's just been 2 months. It's not even 2 months since Father Hamlet's death. So, and then he shifts, he slips quickly into a memory of so excellent a king that was this to this, that was to this Hyperion to a satyr. Hyperion, sun god to goat is essentially what that Greek mythological comparison is. He's saying this father of mine is like a horny goat, and my dad was a god of the sun. So, and you know what? He used to love my mother, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. He doesn't want he wants to protect her even from wind. Heaven and earth must I remember. Now, remembrance is a big issue here, and he doesn't want to. Like, it's almost as if he's, do I have to? I wish this would melt away. I wish I didn't have to. Must I remember? Look, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. This increase of appetite is interesting. This idea that in eating you would want to become even more hungry. Appetite and this increase of it and the perversity of it makes me think of his disgust with her appetite, and not just for food, but perhaps something sexual as well. And then within a month time, is it 2 months? Is it 1 month? Is it 2 months? Is it 1 month? It doesn't matter really. It's just fast. It's too fast for him. Let me not think on it. Here's one of the iconic lines. He breaks off and shouts, "Frailty, thy name is woman. Woman or weak. That's your name. That's, a little month, or ere these shoes were old, with which followed my poor father's body, like Niobe, all tears." Niobe, another Greek myth. She taunted the gods, and they killed her kids, and she begged Zeus for sympathy, and she was turned into a rock. But even as a rock, crying. Even Niobe, all tears, okay? Almost like some kind of mythological creature she was. She was mourning, weeping, following, doing all the things you're supposed to do. And, this is a big problem for Hamlet, doing what you're supposed to do, being cast in a role and doing it. He kind of sees how fake everything is, and how all of this is a performance almost. Was she even... God. A beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer. Now he's calling her frailty, appetite. Now she's an animal, even an animal, like a dog, that doesn't know how to reason, would have mourned longer, not her. The length of mourning is at issue. Remember, Claudius is saying to Hamlet, and for the time in the court, this would be a reasonable thing to say, that fathers die. You don't need to take this so seriously forever. You don't need to suffer like this. But for Hamlet to remember and to mourn is important. My father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. I mean, sadly, this comparison between father's brother and father compares him to Hercules. To really, I don't know, does this emphasize Hercules, this mythic god, the labors, the amount, strong, powerful, heroic, courageous? Is Hamlet suggesting he's none of these? Hamlet equals opposite of Hercules. Is that what he's saying? And again, within a month, this month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. That's an amazing image. These unjust tears are in her poisoned eyes, almost. And even as they're there, she married. And this he finds intolerable. Oh, most wicked speed. Is it the speed that's getting him? Is that it? To post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. Now that is amazing to say out loud. That is just, this is why we love Hamlet. The language. Oh God, the language is unbelievable. Look at what is upsetting him. Is it time? Is it the father dying? He's disgusted with something. What's he disgusted? He's disgusted with his mother. He's disgusted with her sexual world. He's disgusted with the speed with which she's remarried and the incest. So this disgust and these sounds, dexterity, incestuous sheets, it's really good. It really gets the filthiness and his revulsion completely. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. It's a really convoluted, hard way of saying, but it's by definition, it's just not going to be okay. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. He can't speak about his feelings in court. He has to remain silent. I have that within me, the passes show. And in a way, this soliloquy, this first of the major soliloquies in Hamlet, is the first that he's sharing this internal world. It's celebrated for its language, for the intensity of its imagery, but for that thread of thought. The character is thinking out loud, is working through something, is sharing something with us, the audience.